This is the Changan Deepal S05, which is a mid-sized, pure electric crossover SUV type thing that competes with the likes of the Skoda Elroq and possibly the Kia EV5 and pretty much every other mid-sized pure electric SUV that's coming out of anywhere. But this one should be worth paying some attention to, so bear with me here.
We'll take a look at aeroplane styling, interior orangeness, and have another crack at voice control. Again.
I haven't mastered this skill yet.
I wonder if you can get voice control to like and subscribe to the channel. If you can, please do that.
Now you might think these Chinese car companies spring out of nowhere, but not so much Changan because it's actually been going since 1862. It's headquartered in Chongqing and it is state-owned and heavily subsidised in China, but not so much here. Saying that, we have already seen the Changan S07 and that's pretty good. So I want to have a go in the S05, which is this, obviously. There are two versions. There's a base rear-wheel drive and then an all-wheel drive version, and they get 278 miles of range and 303 miles of range for the longer range rear-wheel drive, which obviously uses less electricity. They've both got the same 68.8 kilowatt-hour battery, and they cost 37,990 and 39,990 respectively, which is a tenner under 40 grand in my mind. They also look pretty much exactly the same, which is to say perfectly acceptable. Now it's worth pointing out here that Changan has a design centre in Turin in Europe, so these aren't just repurposed Chinese market cars. And I actually think it looks really quite nice. It's got a more Eurocentric vibe, which is basically a mixture of croissants and espresso. Now the good thing is, this doesn't look like a bar of soap, which some of them do, although I do think the badge with this kind of inverted triangle does look a bit like a Cupra badge, and the whole car is supposed to have been inspired by aircraft, but I kind of can't quite see it because there's a distinct lack of wings and propellers or jet engines, apart from this bit here. Can you see it? It looks a bit like a paper aeroplane around the headlights, because that's the headlight unit. I don't know whether it's just me, but I am getting faint Volvo EX30 vibes, especially around this area, but it's actually quite a subtle car. It's got movable grille shutters for efficiency, and then as you move down the bonnet, it's got some quite nice wheel arches, some good sort of feature lines down the side of the car, nice profile. It's not very tall, so it is definitely a mid-sized. And then as you come down here, it's almost got a coupe-ish kind of window line. Decent wheels, which actually add 11 miles to the range. They're that efficient. There's a fact for you. And then this little thing, I actually think is an external speaker through which you can play pre-recorded tunes or swear words. And then when you get to the back, it's kind of inoffensive in a slightly sexy way. I like the little spoiler. I like the little fin that houses the third brake light. It's got rear wash wipe, which is always good. Then a full width light bar, which looks like a lot of other things, but I don't mind it. And then it's just neat. It's tidy. It's inoffensive. We like that. The inside is sort of more of the same. I just want to point out here that the interior leather, vegan leather, which means it's plastic, is available in one of two standard colours, black or orange. So it's boring or bonkers, but there is nothing really in between. But again, this whole interior is supposed to be aircraft inspired, which, well, maybe I kind of get it. You've kind of got these two wing shapes on the dash, and these controls on the steering wheel here are supposed to be like aeroplanes, but not being a pilot, I don't know the difference. As is the big head-up display. There is no driver's information display in front of me. You're supposed to use this big head-up version that's projected on the far end of the bonnet, which actually works really, really well, apart from the fact that I tend to wear polarized sunglasses quite a lot and then can't see it. And then obviously there's this big 15.4-inch touchscreen in the middle, which seems quite crisp. It's quite nice to use. It's got a couple of nice little functions in it though. If I press that, or actually I can just swipe down and hit this, I can actually tilt the screen either to the passenger or have it angled towards myself as the driver, which cuts down on glare, but I quite like that arrangement. I don't actually have to change my eye line as much, which is quite nice. And then if I put that back in the middle, I'll just show you this. There's some stuff like if you go into the passenger seat presets, you can make the passenger seat have a zero gravity setting. So basically, you can make it fully recline, and it's got a little calf rest. So you can make that go up like that. It does it in stages for some reason. And then you can have a little bit of a sleep when you're in a car park, or do whatever it is you do in a car park. It also has a pretty good standard of kit. There's a 14-speaker stereo as standard. You've got dual wireless charging for your phone, which is cooled so your phone won't get hot. There's some cup holders, masses of space under here, which is useful because there is no glove box. Because of that zero gravity seat where your feet might be, the glove box took up too much space, so that's deleted. But there is loads of places to put things. There's loads of space in here, lift out tray, all the usual bits and bobs. It just feels like you get quite a lot for your money. And the uplift from the rear-wheel drive to the all-wheel drive car is all about the hardware rather than about the kit. A couple of things to note though. It does have a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, which is important when you carry your family around in here. It has quite a chunky key, which is this kind of lozengey effort, which is interesting. The electric windows actually, for me, operate the wrong direction. So you push them forward to go down and you pull them back to go up. It's a small thing, but it does bother me. And it does have loads of sensors, radars, and a couple of interesting things. So when you're parking, if you press this like that, it has the normal kind of camera setting, but it's also got this, which is an invisible car. So when you're parking, you can actually see through the car to what you're parking over, which means you can line it up on a curb, or you can see where you're going to reverse into a manhole cover. It's actually really nicely put together, and I quite like it.
In fact, the only options are a panoramic sunroof for £1,000 and a £600, 1600 kilogram capable tow bar, which keeps it simple.
I was actually probably not going to talk about the back seats, but now that I've got in here, it's more impressive than I thought. I've got masses of leg room. It's got a completely flat floor, a couple of charging ports, and loads of headroom. I could properly relax in here.
The boot is big at 492 litres with 1,250 litres available with the seats down, and there's a massive 159 litre front too.
Don't do this, it's stupid. And unlike some of the other Chinese cars that I've been driving lately, this Deepal S05 is actually really nice to drive. Now that is probably because it's been tuned specifically for UK roads. Now usually I'd say that would probably include needing long travel suspension and possibly tank tracks, but Changan's answer was to have a specific ride and handling and tech department in Birmingham, which means that this car is set up for Birmingham's roads and is therefore capable of anything. It's actually got really nice steering. It's not massively talkative, but it's very accurate. It's got really good body control. And the damping, even though it's a little bit firm, is actually really nice. These are terrible Cotswolds roads. And look, I'm going through really bumpy bits, and it actually works very nicely. It's a really nice balance between road holding, handling, and comfort. This is the rear-wheel drive version, so this one gets about 278 miles of range, and it's got 268 horsepower, so it gets from rest to 62 miles an hour in about 7.5 seconds, which is plenty rapid. You don't really need much more than that. There is a faster version, and that gets an extra front motor to give it all-wheel drive, and that gets from rest to 62 in 5.5 seconds, which is nicely rapid. But I have to say, I just don't think you need it. The way that the UK's road network works, I'd rather have the extra range than the extra speed. And this thing just feels really useful. It's about balance, isn't it? You want a car that is comfortable enough, even on a dodgy road, to not have you shaking your teeth out, but also go round a roundabout where you're not going to flop backwards and forwards and make yourself feel uncomfortable. It does have lots of driver assistance systems which do ping and pong quite a lot. Now Changan reckons that they've set the systems up so that you don't need to switch them off. But where I live and on some of these roads, they still interrupt and bong and bing, and you're not always sure what they're talking about. So the car bongs and bings, you look at things on the screen to try and figure out what's going on, and it's more distracting than if they just didn't get involved at all. But generally, it's a really comfy, nice car to drive. Plenty of performance, plenty of ride and handling, and just, it feels more refined than a lot of the Chinese cars that I've driven, and that's undoubtedly to do with the fact that Changan has this UK base. It makes a huge difference. It's possibly not the kind of car that would appeal to people who love driving, but it wouldn't offend them. And the people that aren't necessarily that into cars would find this really, really nice. It's got refinement. It's got this massive head-up display, which you can't see, but is really useful. Everything feels quite gimmick-free, and I've just been quite relaxed driving it. And these days, when driving is quite a stressful environment, a car that can chill you out slightly is a really good thing. Out of all of the sort of mid-sized electric SUV shaped things, this is proving to be actually a pretty good one. I think a lot of the problems come when you do have to spend a little bit of time getting used to the cars. And when we test cars, we jump in them, we drive them for maybe an hour, and then we have to make loads of decisions. But if this was your car, you'd know how to change the modes. You'd know what the voice control trigger words were. Like when we were trying to do the sunshade earlier on, we kept saying, open the sunroof, and it didn't know the word sunroof. But if you go, hey Deepal,
Please say it.
close the sunshade.
The sunshade is closing.
You see, it knew the word sunshade and it works perfectly. But before it just said, I haven't learned how to do that yet. Hey Deepal,
Go ahead.
open the driver's side window 50%.
Okay.
When it works, it's brilliant. Hey Deepal, close driver's side window.
As we mentioned earlier, both versions get a 68.8 kWh lithium iron phosphate battery, LFP being good because it uses less rare minerals, is more durable, and can be charged flat to full all the time without too much trouble. It's a more durable option but can be a little less energy dense than lithium ion. There's a standard heat pump, and DC fast charging weighs in at up to 200 kilowatts, enabling a 10 to 80% charge in 23 minutes, which is better than most. And AC charging is up to 11 kilowatts. Plus, there's a vehicle-to-load function that can supply up to 6 kilowatts for external power-ups. And there's roughly 60 dealers in the mix now, plus an 8-year battery warranty and 7 years or 100,000 miles on the car, so there's lots of peace of mind and some decent leases to be had.
So, the Changan Deepal S05. Okay, so there's nothing here that absolutely blows your socks off, but it's a decently spec'd, well-priced, effective small EV. It might not be the kind of car that you buy if you absolutely love cars, but it's a really good effort.
Fancy looking at a Changan S05 in more detail, want to figure out what it competes against, or do something boring but useful like compare warranties or battery longevity? Then you need to pop over to electrifying.com and see what we can offer. We've got all the information you need to make the right choice.